So Operation Deep Freeze has been fully revealed, and it's giving power back to defenders, or even more power depending on how you feel about defense right now. Now, I know it's been a while, guys, since I've talked about Rainbow Six Siege, but in the background, I have been playing this game a ton this season. I am loving it and expect more content on this game. So in this video, we are going to be talking about the new operator, a Grenade Rework, which is interesting, a new map, which looks intriguing, and some other small stuff like map run, controller remapping, and the removal of T-Hunt. Yeah, I just said that. Such things as the Battle Pass UI and the reputation system, I will not talk about because I just don't care as much as the other stuff, or care at all to talk about that, but some of that stuff I guess is intriguing. I'm not sure. So let's jump into the new operator, and this new operator is called Tubarao, or Tubarao. He's Portuguese. I'm struggling to say his name for some reason because I always do, but he is a 2 health, 2-speed operator, and his primaries of choice are going to be the MPX and the AR-15. Now, one is an SMG that Valkyrie and Warden have, and the other is a DMR that Maverick has. Yes, we're getting another DMR defender. That should be intriguing. The AR-15 is definitely a choice to use. I'm not saying it's good, I'm not saying it's bad, but it definitely is one of the higher skilled stuff. In the defender's hands though, let's see how this works, because there is a lot of potential for a powerful weapon here on the defensive side of things. Now, he only has one secondary weapon, which is the P226, which is fine. I mean, pistols are fine in my opinion, nothing crazy there. But besides that, you will also have the choice between a nitro cell, which ideally pairs best with his gadget, more on that soon, or a proxy alarm. His gadget, let's get into that, some of the stuff, maybe one of the most innovative gadgets Siege has ever introduced, or at least in my opinion since Mira. It's been a long time. I've been playing Siege since the beginning. Now, in simple terms, its goal is to pause or slow an action taken from the attacking team. So it can pause the thermite charge from hard breaching or slow an enemy down from pushing in sight if you are aware of that push, however. The result is to give defenders time to properly react to that action. Now, it won't destroy the thermite charge, but it will pause the destruction for a moment, so you can either bandit to destroy, for example, or prepare properly for that hole that is about to form. It gets deeper when we see the potential in vertical gameplay as well. Now, when ops stand in this, they leave footprints behind, both physically on the same level, as well as footprints that are also underneath. So if you are underneath a player who are standing in this, you will see their footprints. Now, this is only for a few seconds, but yeah, when you see the footprints underneath, you get the potential for a nitro, which was what I was talking about before. Just keep in mind that if the nitro makes contact with the freeze gadget, it too will be disabled until the gadget runs out or is destroyed. Now, the funny part to everything I just said is I was talking as if Tubarao was an anchor, and he's not just that. He is designed to be a flex operator, so he has roaming if it's needed in that scenario. So one big trait of his gadget is freezing air jabs to allow for a flank or push that is usually easily denied by a well-placed jab from Nomad. So the potential here for this new op is exciting, and I'm curious to hear how you guys feel about all the information, so drop a comment down below. Let's have a conversation. Now, Tubarao works well with 3 types of defenders, so teamwork only enhances the potential of these ops. Now, these 3 groups in the video were described as denial ops, so Bandit or Cade, for example, for those hard breaches, intel ops, so Pulse, for example, and trap ops like an Ella or Fenrir. Honestly, all this on paper sounds great for defenders, and it's an interesting time for them, but it is Siege, so we need to have counters in some way. Maverick is the only hard breach not totally affected by the freeze, but it will be slowed when you're standing in that freeze. Zero, Zofia, and Twitch have the ability to destroy the gadget to eliminate the effect if you can get to it, and grenades are not affected by the freeze in any way, so there are your counters. Since we mentioned grenades, let's talk about the Grenade Rework. This, in simple terms, is a nerf with Ubisoft removing the cooking potential, RIP to a legend. The goal here is to give defenders time to react, because a high skilled player can totally make grenades impossible to deal with, especially with the fact of Jaegers in the past getting nerfed. It also locks the attacker's selection to who has grenades, which can create a stagnation to the balance of attacking ops players may choose. So grenades will now work more like flashbangs as they described. They'll have a 4-second timer, and bouncing on a surface slightly reduces the timer. Since the overall function of nades has been nerfed, more operators will now have access to them. So it's intriguing. Let's see how things play out. The test server goes live tomorrow, so some of these changes will be fully fleshed out in experience, and yeah, It's a sad time for nades getting nerfed, but it's also intriguing. Let's see how this shakes up the balance of attackers and defenders, because it always is a tug-of-war fight between these two sides for the last God knows how many years. Let's talk about the new map Lair, which is set inside a cave. Now, to be honest, I do not know how I feel about this, so I won't ramble too much about it. One thing they mentioned that stuck out to me as a question mark is they talked about it being safe for attackers from spawn peaks. Let's see how true that is. Us Siege players can always find an elaborate, cheeky spawn for those peaks. Objective-wise, we have 1 in the basement, 2 sites on the first floor, and they didn't give a number of sites on the second floor, but it seemed to be just 1. Each floor will have their own distinct look. And as a friendly reminder, this new map won't be bannable in Operation Deep Freeze. Altogether, I mean, this map wasn't the most exciting of new maps I have seen from them in the past years of Siege, so let's see how things play out. Inside a cave setting can be not as colorful, but they did talk about each having their own distinct look, and that distinct look was cleanliness, dirtiness, and formal, military, whatever. So let's see how this new map plays out. But if we have to be honest, one thing us Siege players hate is to learn new maps or reworked maps. For years, we are used to one thing, and change isn't fun. Ubisoft is now introducing a feature which is long overdue, might I say, called Map Run. The goal here is to give players a training activity to learn the new maps with their callouts, even going into objectives that task you to find a dummy in a certain area. Unfortunately, not all the maps are in here, but the new map Lair and the reworked consulate map will be 2 of the 7 maps in the new tool for new players or returning players like myself to get into the flow of the present callouts. Another long overdue feature for controller players is controller remapping. This allows for all sorts of detailed customization for players to use, or for those with disabilities to help with their desired preferences. And at some point in the season, not at launch, controller players will be able to finally hip lean. That only took 9 years. With all these enhancements to learn or training tools in the game, this all comes at a cost. That cost will be the removal of T-Hunt. I am a little bit bummed out, to be honest, because this was something I had fun with in my early years of Siege when Siege first launched, but it's very disconnected to what Siege is now, specifically on a learning playing field. The goal from this is to put those resources into the new tools like Map Run, Training Grounds, and a new player versus AI playlist. So let's see how this all goes, but that's pretty much all the stuff I took away and the big stuff you need to know about Operation Deep Freeze when it launches later. I forget the exact date. I probably just throw it up here on screen. Overall, this is pretty damn exciting. I'm not gonna lie. This is an exciting time. I'm excited to see how things flow for defenders. I know the power creep for them can get a little bit wild now with something like this on board. Let's see how things balance out. The nade nerf to everything probably isn't great for allowing this gadget to probably thrive, but everything I am saying is on speculation, and we have to wait and see how it operates in game, in action, with us the players utilizing as much as we can get out this new operator and stuff like that. But leave your thoughts down below on this reveal on everything Operation Deep Freeze. Are you excited? Does this look like a bummer? What are your thoughts on it? Drop a comment down below and we can have a conversation about it. If you guys also found this video informative and enjoyed the content, be sure to drop this video a like. Helps out the video a ton. And for more content from me, especially on the Rainbow Six Siege side of things, be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell to be notified for when I do drop more content. But until then, that's all I got for this one. ShadowNinja here, and I'm out.